Good evening. Welcome back to another episode of TSP. How's everyone doing tonight?
Yachts. What's up,
Freaking
guys?
Marines, man. So before we get started, I want to thank our Patreon members and everybody that supports us, our followers. We really appreciate it. If it wasn't for you guys, we couldn't do what we do. And also, we've been talking about giving away sporting event tickets to veterans and first responders. And I will be happy to say I have in my hands season tickets to the Detroit Lions.
What?
So if you're a veteran or a first responder and you're going to be in Detroit during football season, please let us know and we'll put your name in a hat. I haven't really decided how we're going to pick and choose these. I don't know if it's going to be random or somebody does something, outstanding. Yeah, we haven't really figured that out yet. But I would like to reach out to the Dearborn Police Department because one officer just took down a bad guy right in their lobby. He was there to kill police officers. Well, the police officer took him down first. So I'd love to get him to a game.
Wow.
Also,
that guy, he definitely needs to go to a game.
Yeah, for sure. I just have to reach out to the department and see if we can. I don't know his name or number. I'm not just going to call up there and ask. It'd be kind of
you're
weird.
You're very good at stalking, Richard. So you can definitely find him. I know you can. You know everybody in Dearborn.
Yeah, I know a lot of people in Dearborn.
Yeah,
not everybody.
You do. I know people down here. Dude, if I go up to Michigan, I will be like lost in the sauce. Like you'll be like hugging and kissing everybody.
I'll hook you up.
And I'll be like, why am I
one day I'll get you up there. But also October 30th, the Detroit Lions.
Hush.
It's thundering out and he hates thunder, so he's freaking out right now.
I can hear him.
So
Briggs, get downstairs.
Get out of here.
There you go.
So October 30th, the Detroit Lions play the Raiders on Monday Night Football, and I have 6 tickets to that game, so I have a couple extra tickets for that one.
Dude, I got 2 veterans up there. Joe Baker, one of my fellow machine gunners, and Wayne Woods. They both live in Michigan. They would love to go to that game. And they're both members of our VFW.
Right on.
One was
we'll figure it out.
Actually, both of them were Marine Special Operations Command in 2007, 2008.
I'm a little sick of your Marines, man. I'm trying to hook up some squids.
You love that. You love us. All right? We are the department. We're Department of the Navy. The men's department. Boom.
Hey, before we get on to Mike's story, is there anything that you need to pass on? Got a
VFW meeting, VFW meeting on Thursday, catered by Mission Barbecue. Which, if you guys haven't, actually, Fleet, tomorrow is Navy Day, so go get your free sandwich at Mission Barbecue.
Probably won't happen.
Go down to Opry Mills, man.
It's too far away. Too busy.
Well, okay. Navy is tomorrow, and then it's Coast Guard, and then Friday is Space Force and Air Force, I think. And then Saturday they're having a Heroes Luncheon at Mission Barbecue in Opry Mills and up here in Murfreesboro. What else? Oh, 27th. The Ruck. On May 27th at 9 o'clock at Barfield Crescent Park. Civilians, veterans, please come on out. We're having a Memorial Day Ruck. Wear your silkies, wear your Ranger panties, boots, flags, water source, bring it all. And it's going to be fun. It's 5 miles. 5. Really easy. 2 miles an hour, very slow. Anybody can do this. Bring your service animals. We're going to have libations. We're going to have a prayer. We're going to have a West Point grad talking to us. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, bring your silkies. I want to see them. I want to see those legs.
So that was at 0900?
0900, and it's 5 miles. It'll take us like 2 hours tops, okay? If you can't do that, then what kind of veteran are you? I mean, come on.
Lazy one.
Lazy. Or you could be LAR, lazy ass recon, and get in the car and never mind. Just kidding. I like the LAR guys. Steven, please don't hate me for saying that. Brian Roberts, I love recon. You guys are awesome.
Are you done flapping?
Yeah, that's it. That's it for me.
All right. Our guest tonight comes from a recommendation from my cousin Jessica, who is from Michigan, who
Thanks, Jessica.
lives north of Chicago.
Chicago.
So, Mike, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate the
What's up,
opportunity
Mike?
to be able to talk to you guys.
Heck yeah, we're excited about it. So, would you like to introduce yourself to our guests?
Who are you, Mike? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm in Arizona now, but I'm originally from like Northern Illinois area, and how I met Jessica was through a long, lifelong friend of mine that I've known since second grade, and he ended up marrying Jessica, and just through some conversation, she told me about this podcast that you guys are doing, and just coincidentally, we're trying to start a nonprofit, and just want to get the word out there and talk about what we're wanting to do. And basically I was in the military for about 21 years.
Hoorah.
Oh, that's all.
That's all. Well,
17
and it was
more
in the
years
guard
than
on top
me.
of it, so.
Where'd you tell us your story? Like, where'd you go to high school, and then you went right to the third best military branch ever, right? That's
There we
the
go.
Army.
Yeah.
Because first was the Navy. Sorry,
Well.
Mike, I had to say it, man. First is the Navy, second is the Marine Corps, third is the Army. So, tell us why. Why did you join the Army?
Yeah, honestly, going through high school, you see all the recruiters in the hallways and stuff like that, and I had absolutely zero interest. I wouldn't even go talk to them, wouldn't look at them, none of that stuff. Just had zero interest. I would just say I was a normal, patriotic American, but just didn't have the ambition to join the military. And out of high school, I ended up getting a automotive degree, almost just because I really didn't know anything else that I wanted to do. So I went and did that and found out that wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And I was literally like driving through a town in Northern Illinois called Woodstock, and there was a sign on like some window basically that said free college. And I was like, this is a great opportunity because I hate my career choice. I've already kind of went through that school piece of it. I got to figure out a way to pay for college this second go around, because my parents had paid for a good portion of that automotive school. And so I literally just flipped around, went into the parking lot, walked into the building, a recruiter's wet dream, and was just basically like, where do I sign? How do I get to free college? And literally talked to nobody about this. I just drove in there and began, filling out the paperwork with the recruiter, and didn't even have a clue as to, all the jobs in the Army and things like that. And to be clear, it was the Army National Guard. And I quite honestly, I just didn't even realize at the time what the difference was between the Guard and the reserves and the active Army component and so on. And so I just went through the normal recruiting process, and at some point, I had to tell my parents what I was doing. I think I was 20 or 21 at the time. So I'd already been out of college or high school for a few years, and ended up joining the infantry. Went to Fort Benning for my basic training. Good stuff. I had a blast. I had so much fun at basic training, and truly made the best of it. Had a great time, and left there and went back to community college and did a couple years there. And at that point, it was time in my life to transition to a university, and so I went to Northern Illinois University, and I was there for probably, I don't know, maybe a semester or whatever. And I was like, I got to figure this out, because I felt like and it was just like this probably anywhere, but there's a good old boy network, and like I wasn't getting promoted, and I felt like I was squared away and did all the stuff that I was supposed to do, and I was like getting nowhere. And I was like, I got to start controlling my own destiny. And so I went over to ROTC, and I was like, where do I sign? So joined ROTC. I probably had at that point, God, I want to say I probably had 5 years in, and I was only an E4, trying to go to PLDC to become an E5 sergeant, and just couldn't do it. So I decided to go the ROTC route, and immediately just it just changed the trajectory of, my leadership and just molding me in general as a, young man, I guess. And love the ROTC component. It was just great. I just, they're sending me to airborne school, air assault school. At the time, they stopped doing Ranger school and started this advanced camp thing, which kind of sucked. But because I much would rather have gone to Ranger school. But went through the advanced camp, graduated college, got my engineering degree, and took off to back to Fort Benning to be an infantry officer. And then, that was probably 99, 2000 time frame. And finished my infantry officer basic course. That's what they called it back then, IOBC. And went back to my hometown in Illinois and was trying to find a engineering job. And I really didn't want to stay in Illinois. So during spring, or during college, I had gone to Arizona on spring break, as well as Colorado. And I was just like, I got to end up in the West somewhere. I just wanted to get out of there and do something different, and tried applying all over the place out there. And basically, at some point, somebody said to me, hey, look, you're not going to get a job. Just pack your stuff up and leave, and just move out here and you'll find a job. And for whatever reason, being naive and fearless, I just packed my stuff up in a 15-foot moving van, and my dad and I moved me across the country, and got out there and found an engineering job within a month. So that was like 2000. About a year later, it was a week before 9/11. I got engaged. 9/11 hit. I had orders to go overseas the following week. And so we just decided, like, screw this. Like, we're just going to go to the justice of the peace and get married. We'll deal with this when I come back. And if for some reason I don't make it back, at least you've got whatever life insurance and stuff of mine to keep, because yeah, exactly. At that point, we were already engaged. So it wasn't like it was a rash decision that we decided to get married. We were engaged the week before. It was just it just happened so fast. And then found myself downrange and sitting on the border of Kuwait and Iraq, and I should say horrible. It was just a very boring deployment. We sat there on a Air Force base guarding a Patriot missile site and providing force security for some of the Air Force out there, and found out how the Air Force live. That's for sure.
Air Force.
Yeah.
Margaritas and an air conditioner.
Literally steak and lobster every Thursday night. Not that it was a great quality, but the fact that they were doing bastards. It, and they turned a what the heck was it? It wasn't a fuel blizzard. What am I thinking of? I don't know. They basically created a swimming pool in the desert with.
I heard some base had a swimming pool that people would go in, and I didn't know where it was, and that sounds like the one I heard about.
Yeah, I stayed out of it. It didn't look too refreshing, and plus a bunch of dudes swimming in there, and yeah. So that was my first taste of being overseas, and we literally did nothing. We just it just, like I said, it kind of sucked, and it gained a little bit of leadership experience being deployed like that, and we thought we were going to go into Iraq because that was the time when they were building everything up at the time to invade Iraq, and we thought, well, they're just going to keep us here. Why wouldn't they? We're already here. We were pretty excited. You take a company of infantry guys, and they're just full of piss and vinegar, and they just want to go down range and kill people, right? It's just, that's the mentality of infantry guys. So
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But
let the dogs loose, baby.
Yeah. And so they ended up, after 7 months, they're like, we're sending you guys back. Kind of just a quick story with that. So we were at Al Jaber Air Base, and we had people at Ali Salim, and then we had people at Doha. And so I was out at Al Jaber by myself, and my commander was like, "You need to coordinate with the Air Force, get a bus and get the guys back here so we can fly back home." And I don't remember exactly what happened. Something fell apart with the transportation back to Doha. And I literally went into I don't remember what the Air Force call it, but where you
Talk?
basically, no, it wasn't a talk. It was where you go to basically get your transportation requests.
Okay.
I literally walked in there with my Army driver's license, and I was like, I got a driver's license to take that bus. And I took the bus and I drove it to Doha and left it down there.
Nice.
I swear to God, yeah. I didn't really tell too many people that story, but just kind of came to me as we were talking. And yeah, that's how I got my guys back there. And then we went back home. And I'm a custom home builder. I actually quit my job as an engineer and started building houses, and that's what I've been doing for 20 years. And so I was building from, I got back in 2002. And let's see, what the heck was it? It was 2006. Let's see, that at that point I would have been in the Guard for 13 years. And I decided, you know what? My business is just skyrocketing. It's on a trajectory. I can't keep hold of it, and it's growing faster than I can handle. I was just, it was a time when the economy was just out of control, cranking, and we were building houses like crazy, and I was making a lot of money. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to get out of the Guard. I'm done. I've done my time. And some 04 came up to me and said, hey, you really should reconsider this. You've got over 10 in, you're past the halfway mark. Why don't you just take a year off, and we'll throw you in the IRR and just revisit it in a year and just make sure you're making a good decision. And, I was like, okay, it's probably a smart thing to do. 13 years in, I'll look at it next year. With everything going on with the business, I just felt like that was the best decision. I would say that was probably like August time frame of that year. I shit you not, within 60 days, I get a phone call from some lieutenant colonel. It's basically like, yeah, you're mobbing to Afghanistan in 60 days or whatever it was. I was just like, and it literally was a voicemail. Like, you need to show up to out process, or in process, I should say, and begin that whole fun time. And I was like, you got to be shitting me. Like, here I'm being told that here's a good suggestion, so I take advantage of it. And 60 days later, I'm getting this voicemail, and so at the time I had probably, I don't even know, something like $10 million worth of custom homes under construction. And I was the guy. Like, at that point, I hadn't scaled my business anywhere. I had a few people working underneath me. And so it wasn't like I could just drop the business and walk away. And so it was a real gut check and a real challenging time for me to try to navigate through that, because I was like, I didn't want to come across like I was trying to get out of something that I signed up for, that I believed in, and really over those years became extremely patriotic and all that. And yet I've got a business that I'm responsible, literally personally responsible for over $10 million in construction. And I'm just going to turn around and walk away. And so it was just a bumpy road. And I actually had gone to JAG, and I was like, I got these contracts. Like, people are going to sue me if I turn around and walk away. Like, what do you guys expect me to do here? And this is a challenge of being in the Guard and, running your own business and things like that. And they basically were like, go pound sand. That's a personal issue. We can't do anything for you. We're not going to fix your contracts or try to do whatever. And I went to the battalion commander of the unit that wanted me to deploy with them. And I was like, look, I said, I'm not trying to get out of this. I said, just get me on the next rotation. I said, I got to finish all these homes. I've got multi-millions of dollars worth of construction I've got to follow through with. And I sat there across the table from him, and he was just like, you're going. He's like, you're going. And it's just, still to this day, looking back at that, it was just handled so poorly in so many different ways. And if I was in his position, I would have handled it much differently. But lo and behold, within 60 days, I was gone. I was on my way to Afghanistan. And what's so to take a step back too, I'm sitting in this battalion commander, this 05's office, and he's like, we need qualified infantry officers downrange to, go do this particular mission, and this, that, and the other, just giving me the speech of what I should be doing. And so then we ended up going through mobilization. We went to Fort Bragg, North Carolina for, I think it was like 90 days or something like that to go through our pre-mob stuff. And the first thing that these guys do is they stick me in this made up bullshit liaison position. Oh, you're going to be the liaison between the active component and the guard component or whatever. And I was like, what? I'm like, you guys are sitting here telling me on one hand, you need qualified infantry officers, and then you're going to give me that job? I was like, this is really messed up. And so, at that point, I'm deployed. Whether I'm still stateside, I'm on active Army orders. I'm just like, all right, they're just going to take it on the chin and just drive on. And so, fortunately for me, they ended up finding out that I had an engineering degree and that I own a construction company. And they were like, right away, they turned around and were like, we're going to make you the HHC XO. You're going to mold the whole battalion downrange. You're going to take care of all the shipping containers, the connexes, and you're going to block and brace and do all this stuff because you know construction.
That's a logo.
Yeah. So I was like,
oh my God.
Yeah. And so I was like, at least that's a little bit better position. It's a little more aligned. And I'm not like just not feeling like I'm on some island by myself, whatever, at least they shifted me over right away to that. And so we end up getting the battalion downrange. I end up sticking with HHC, and we get over to a FOB called FOB Meadowland. It's basically kind of northeast Afghanistan, not too far from Pakistan. And so they right away, they were like, oh, you're going to be the base engineer. You're going to be the contracting officer. You're going to be dealing with all these TCNs, making contracts. Your job is to basically give them all the construction work through contracts. So they made me a contracting officer. I had to go through that whole Army training and things like that, which I knew nothing about. And I probably did that for, probably 3 months. And at the time, so on that particular FOB, HHC, as part of their task organization, they had a scout platoon and a mortar platoon and another maneuver element. And so there was the scout platoon leader. He was a first lieutenant at the time, and I was a captain. So here I am, an XO, which is a first lieutenant's job essentially, and I'm a captain. I'd been a captain for probably 3 or 4 years at the time. So I'm just like taking it on the chin, just dealing with it, right? I'm going to do my job, and I'm going to do it the best I can. And so this scout platoon leader's this first lieutenant, and just not following the rules. I'm going to go out there and we're going to kick doors in. We're going to, take control of the enemy, and we're going to fight this way, and not the hearts and minds side. And so he got reprimanded a couple times, and then all of a sudden they fired him. And so I'm sitting in some battalion meeting, and they were like, yep, so this lieutenant got fired. We need somebody to step into his position and take over. And I was like, I'm like, send me. Like, I want off this FOB. This is driving me absolutely batshit crazy. And so after about 3 months, battalion commander, I still cannot believe, after the conversations I had before mobilizing, that he actually put me in that position and let me go. And then the rest of the deployment, it was a little bit of a challenge because the platoon itself had really grown through the training that they had done at Bragg. They were together as a platoon, a lot of them before that, even before the mobilization. And then they're in theater, already building cohesiveness and the camaraderie, because the typical things that happen in a combat zone. These guys are actively engaged with the enemy multiple times a week. And so that just builds that band of brothers. And so I was, old enough to know, hey, just don't go in and start changing stuff. Just roll with it. Let's just learn the personalities, learn the leadership there. And it didn't take me too long, and I fit in just fine. And finished off the deployment. It did whatever it was, another 9 months with them. And it was probably the best life experience I could have ever had. I'm still to this day friends and keep in touch with a lot of those guys in the platoon, and I'll segue at some point into, what I'm doing with my nonprofit and things like that. But just an absolute wonderful experience. And then I came back, and they ended up pushing me over to company command just for a short period so that I could move on to a S3 position in an engineer battalion. But they stuck me in as a sapper company commander, which is basically,
Nice.
It's like an infantry officer for engineers. And so, I had a blast doing that. No pun intended, but
Did they send you to sapper school?
they did not.
Okay.
So unfortunately,
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Just wanted to ask.
Yeah, no, it was something that I was hoping to do, and they had me on a fast track to basically get it was really just to get my command under my belt so that I could move up to Battalion S3. And at that time, I had 18 years in, I think, something like that, and finished off my last couple years as Battalion S3, and then decided to retire. And so that was
S3. That's logistics right there. No, wait, no, that's training. Operations training. Yeah. That's right.
So when you left, who ran your company?
So I had the two guys and my wife. My wife was the glue that held the whole thing together. And not to go too far down in the weeds, but my wife has a pacemaker, and the stress that she had to deal with when I left was unbelievable. I actually had gotten a Red Cross message when I was over there from her. And I was like, F this, I'm going back to deal with this. I got to straighten the mess out that I left behind, that they couldn't pick up the pieces. And then I had to deal with my wife to get her, get her health back to where it should be. And unfortunately, we had a really good naturopath doctor that was like, we're not giving you medicine. You've just got a massive amount of stress. Your husband's back. Let's just work through this piece, and everything will work out. And it did. And then I ended up, going back for the rest of the deployment or whatever. But they managed to get all the houses built. The homeowners were, very understanding, because it was a time when the country was extremely patriotic, and they were like, we're in this with you guys. We'll figure out how to get through it. And fortunately, we had DSN lines over there. So we were at FOB Metterland, but me and the other maneuver platoon, we would switch out 2 weeks at a patrol base up in the mountains. And so when we first went up there was nothing. Like literally whoever tactically picked that spot halfway down the side of a mountain was an idiot. And so we had to build that whole base up, and a lot of my construction experience helped with that. I was like, getting equipment and filling Hescos with Bobcats, and I built this big bucket to attach onto a Bobcat. And
Hesco bears, man, I miss those. Damn.
Yeah, we cooked on those things. We made barbecue grills on them.
I know they're amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure that stuff was not healthy. The galvanized coating on that getting into our food.
Hey,
and whatnot,
PACTAC, man, toxic exposure. You can try and get that. Call the
right.
VA.
Yeah, we cooked on that for quite a long time until we got smart enough, and we went back when we did our 2-week shift back to the main base or whatever. We went down to the mechanics, and we were like, cut us a 50-gallon drum in half, and let's make us a grill out of it. And so we ended up doing that. But just a bunch of infantry guys living out there. That's where we wanted to be. We didn't want to go back to the main base. We wanted to stay up there the whole time. And it just, the other maneuver element.
Yeah, you can wear like your sleeves down. You don't have to roll your freaking camis on the bottom. You can just, you don't have to salute anybody. It's just cool.
Yeah.
I agree with you, sir. I like that part too.
And guys just love the fact that we could get away with not shaving out there, right? Like that was, I swear to God, that was like the best thing.
Oh, my first sergeant, he was all over us, shave every day.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's terrible.
But we could get away with it up there, because nobody really came and visited us.
Mike, what did you finally, when you got out? What were you a lieutenant colonel when you got out?
No, I retired as a major.
As a major, okay.
Yeah, I just honestly, it was a move on my part that it would have been selfish for me to stay in, and I could have rode it out a very long time. I was pretty well connected at that point, and I just felt like it was the wrong thing for me to do personally. It would have been selfish for the soldiers, and on top of it to retire at a lieutenant colonel's pay, I would have had to do like, it was something like another 5 years or something like that. I just didn't have it in me, honestly. So,
Wow.
yeah, and really, when I was a sapper commander, so that was probably 2 or 3 years before I retired. My battalion commander at the time, he works for a very large construction company here in town, and he got approached by Jared Allen's Homes for Wounded Warriors about building houses for severely wounded vets. And the company that he worked for it's a giant commercial company. Like they did like copper mines and stuff like that. They weren't doing residential construction. So I remember him coming up to me when we were out in the field one time, and he's like, "Hey, are you interested in getting involved with a wounded warrior program, building some houses or whatever?" And I was like, "Absolutely. Tell me more about it." And it turned out to be just a wonderful thing, because as I transitioned out of even though it was the Guard, you're still so attached to it. The people, the camaraderie, and all that stuff. I was like, this is going to be a great way for me to transition out of the military. And so he's like, "Yeah, the commercial company we work for, we can't do this. We're looking, or Jared Allen's looking for a residential construction company to basically take over. And you're obviously a veteran. You own a construction company. It's like teed up for you. Do you want to do it?" And so we ended up building 4 houses here for severely wounded vets. Like the first guy we built the house for, he had 1 arm and that was it. So they really only take severely wounded veterans. And so we built 4 houses, and on one of them, Obama actually came out and did the ribbon cutting ceremony. So whatever your political opinion is, it's still the president of the United States shows up on my job site.
Remember,
we don't get political here.
We need to put a gag on him for that.
Oh, okay. I won't go there. It's still the president showing up on your job site.
We can talk about whatever we want. Fleek is good. Fleek's,
I love those kind of stories. I love those kind of stories, man.
Yeah, that's a great story, because it's funny. We just had a vet get a free house last year.
Yeah, right down the road from me.
Army, right up the road from where Fleek is.
Yeah, there's not a dry eye in the place at the final, key ceremony and things like that. And just an absolutely amazing thing to be a part of. I had no idea that it would it really pulls on your heartstrings, man. I'll tell you, there's, you get all this media that's out there, and, became good friends with Jared Allen.
I mean, getting a mortgage-free home. I mean, that is
huge. Is it truly mortgage-free? Do they have to pay like the taxes on it or anything?
Well, after the service member gets the house, then it's his responsibility to maintain it and pay the taxes. So whatever they decide to do.
Is it there like like if I win a motorcycle or a car, I have to pay like a 40% luxury tax or something? Is there something like that on it?
No, just the property taxes. That's it.
Oh, just the property tax.
Yeah.
What prevents the veteran to turn around and just sell it like a year later and just pocket the money?
Yeah, that was always a little bit of a concern. We didn't experience that with any of the service members that we did the houses for. A couple of them now have since sold the houses and moved into different states, actually. And I remember the conversation, with Jared's organization. It was like, look, we built the house for the service member. It's his. He does what he wants with it at this point. He runs it into the ground. That's on him. If he decides to sell it years later, that's his opportunity too. They start families and they grow and they want different houses, or they want to live in a different part of the state or what have you. It's up to them. So, and then we got through the last house, or second to last house we did, we got turned on to another foundation in California called the Carrington Foundation. And then they asked us to do a house for them as well. So we've done a total of 5. Wow. And it's been great. A great thing to do.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Great thing
Mike,
to do.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask, because you actually you're living in Arizona, correct, right now?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The commander-in-chief of the VFW of National.
I knew it was coming. Our
first Iraq War veteran that is a commander-in-chief of the VFW is from Arizona. and actually that's where the VFW National Convention is.
Just go ahead and ask him.
Phoenix this
Just
summer.
go ahead and ask him, Andrew.
I know. I'm leading up to it. Are you a member of the VFW?
I am not.
Why not? You should be.
I should.
You rate it, sir. Tim Garland, I just recruited one for you. You're welcome, sir.
Send me the info.
I will. I'll send you the info. No problem, sir. You got it. I'm national recruiter for Tennessee, so it's part of my job.
Sounds
when
good.
I hear Afghanistan, when I hear those, I'm like, VFW, right there. Yeah, I would. Yeah, you'd be great. You'd give that VFW. Now, where in Phoenix? Do you live in Phoenix or?
No, I'm over in Scottsdale.
That's about 20 minutes away, right, from Phoenix?
Yeah, I mean,
25?
Phoenix metropolitan area is spread out so far. It just depends on what area you're talking about, honestly.
Yeah, I've been to Scottsdale. I did a podcast with God, what the hell's his name? David something. But yeah, he has a studio out there, and I went, and the Marine Rapper was there, and me, and like 3 other people, and we did an interview on suicide prevention, and that's the first time I've ever been to Scottsdale, and it was beautiful.
Yeah. What time of the year did you come?
Yeah.
I think it was March or April.
Oh, yeah, that's a great time of year. Yeah.
So how do you build a house in the summertime in Arizona?
Yeah, I was just about to get to that too.
Growing up in the Midwest, and I did work for a general contractor back there building custom homes, and you would think that like in the winter back in the Midwest, things slow down, and then as soon as it starts getting nicer, new construction picks back up again. And you would think in Arizona, with it being 110, 115 in the middle of summer, like it would do the same thing as what it would do in the Midwest. It would slow down. We're busier in the summer than we are any other time of the year. It's just, I don't know why that is. I've been here for 22 years and I still don't get it.
But July 22nd to July 27th is the national convention, and it's probably going to be about 112, 115, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why they picked Phoenix, but you know what? It's okay.
Yeah.
So how many snakes have you seen out there?
Ooh.
I saw one this morning. I live in a rural area, so my roads aren't even paved. We've got horses. Yeah, we've got horses on our property, but yeah, we see rattlesnakes all the time. It's not that big of a deal. Typically, they don't want to be around you. They're most of the time
horses.
Arabians.
Wow. Do you ride?
I'm kind of a city slicker. I do ride. My wife trains them and stuff like that, and we do board horses, but that's her
awesome.
Gig. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just flashing back to when I was 8 years old and riding a 19-hand horse named Inferno.
Oh, jeez.
And I was this little kid. I'm riding this 19-hand horse. This thing is like a monster. I give props because I love horses, and that's awesome. That's awesome.
And the name Inferno, that thing sounds hot-blooded for sure.
It was. Oh, he was. I almost died that day, thanks to my godparents in Kentucky. Awesome. Way to go.
Let's see what you want me to talk about kind of how the nonprofit and how that thing is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Hold on, I gotta go turn on the lights. Fleek, I'll be right back. 2 seconds. 2 seconds, Mike.
Is he live in Tennessee?
Yeah, he's on the other side of town from me.
Oh, that's right. You're not in Michigan. You're in Tennessee.
Yeah, I moved to Tennessee 10 years ago.
It's starting to get dark here. That's why I had to turn the lights on. Sorry.
Yeah, we went to Nashville for the first time last summer. I had never been there, and wow, was I surprised how much it's like Vegas.
Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah.
It's changed a lot just in 10 years.
Yeah, we had a good time though.
Where'd you stay in Nashville?
Gosh, I don't even remember now.
The Gaylord, the Omni Rosin, the Hyatt, I
think it was the Omni.
The Omni? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's a good hotel.
That is a nice one.
Yeah, we had a good time. Good time. Good food.
Where'd you go? Did you eat at Hattie B's? I hope you did.
Oh yeah, of course. I think we ate there 2 or 3 times, as a matter of
Nice.
fact. My
You had
wife
the
was
hot
like,
chicken.
yeah, super good. I loved it. Yeah, my wife's like, we're going back, and I think we went back like 2 or 3
Well,
times.
hey, when you come, you
Yeah.
gotta let us know. We're only about 45 minutes from Nashville. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. So over the last, since I got out, I actually had, basically 6 people that I served with that took their life, and it's never an easy thing to deal with, whether you were super close to them or I've had a few guys from my platoon, or I should say one guy from my platoon, a guy from my battalion that I deployed with, and then others besides that outside of the deployments. And one of them is recently, is about 6 months ago. And it's just one of those things, like, you always ask yourself, could I have done more? Could I do better? Is there something I can contribute moving forward? And it's just something that was bothering me for quite a while. Once you stop serving in whatever capacity it is, there's just kind of a missing component, if you will. And I just didn't really understand how to navigate through that time. And 2 guys were basically within 2 years. And you just start, like I said, you start asking yourself questions. What can I do to help? And I had thought about trying to start a nonprofit before, and I was like, I'm running a business. I'm extremely busy. I did my time. Can somebody else get involved and help with this stuff? And it just seemed like it was just left out there hanging. And I finally decided recently to go ahead and move forward with this. And so we filed with the IRS, and it's called Freedom for Heroes. And it's my understanding that these things take like 6 to 7 months to get approved. So yeah. We're very early in the beginning of this thing. I've got a few people on the board of directors that are extremely excited about helping. I've done a lot of just posting on Facebook prior to even filing for the paperwork, just trying to see who would be interested in helping. It's one of those things, going back to Jared Allen's organization, he has one of his right-hand men is Alex Karalexis. He's a MMA fighter, and he lives here. And I've spent a lot of time with Alex. We work together on these homes and things like that. And one thing that Alex always said, he would ask people is like, hey, do you support veterans and support the cause? And everybody's like, oh yeah, I'm 100%. Yeah, I definitely support veterans. And then, his very next question is, well, how are you actually doing that? And I always kept that in the back of my mind. That was always like a really good question to ask somebody, like, how are you actually supporting? Like, you just saying and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Like, just being on board with general support. You see a soldier or service member in the airport, you go shake their hand, you buy them a cup of coffee, or, if you happen to be like in the Dallas airport, that was one of the places where everybody from our part of the country funneled through the Dallas airport. And there was just rows of people down the sides. That's one way of supporting, just saying thank you to somebody. But that always resonated with me when he kind of told me about that, how he approached it and asked people that. And so I just like, how am I going to help moving forward, and what kind of things and what kind of impact am I going to try to make, and how big do I want this thing to be? And so we're in the very early stages. I kind of trying to figure out like where this goes and what I'm capable of doing, and who I can get on board to help. And I kind of look at it like, I feel like there's a couple of buckets that I'm trying to solve problems in. And one of them is like, the healthcare at the VA, helping people navigate through that, how to file claim, what resources are available to veterans. That's kind of like, I consider that like one bucket. The other bucket is, I'm in some business mastermind groups that are, there's about 1,000 of us in the country. And the way we handle when we meet up, whether it's on a Zoom or we do meetings probably 6 times a year in different locations, and they're deep dive conversations and nothing surface level at all. These are business owners that are extremely wealthy, and I always enjoyed the conversations that I had with these guys and how they handle, like, they've got pillars that are part of that organization, and these guys truly live by this stuff, and they're very giving. And so I was like, that could be a great approach to how maybe I can take that same model and apply it towards service members from a perspective of how do we change the life for them in just general everyday living. Because I always thought, like, after we built these homes, it's such a monumental crescendo, whatever you want to call it, when we hand the keys over to them. And then I always thought to myself, now these guys are fighting their demons inside that home now. The heydays over of all that buildup of we're building them a house, we're handing them the keys, and now what? And that always kind of bothered me. And I had heard the different struggles that some of these particular service members went through after we gave them the house, or Jared gave them the house, and it's tough to hear stories like, now these guys are struggling. Here they've been handed a house, but yet they're still fighting these demons, whatever they are. And how do we help them live as much of a normal life as we possibly can? So does that mean, counseling, therapy, whatever you want to call it, whatever name you want to assign to it? Is that a piece of it? Is it, do we need to give them a new sense of wealth and purpose and living a fulfilled day, because they've got a mission every day now, and that mission is hey, I've got myself a new career, and I'm gonna do this. Or maybe they don't. Maybe they're so lost they don't have a career, and maybe that's something that we help them with too. So I'm just unclear right now where this goes, but I would say that's creating some sort of annual retreat where where we have involvement, where we can dive deep in conversations, and maybe we've got people that are wanting to hire veterans. Maybe that's part of the retreat. Maybe that's a couple hours where these guys go do interviews. Maybe it's dealing, how to navigate through the VA system for filing a claim as part of that. Obviously, some fun element to that as well. So I feel like that's one thing that I definitely want to do once a year is create some sort of retreat like this, where we're truly helping them make an impact on their long-term living. And that's kind of what my goal is. And then I kind of have a third bucket, and I heard on one of your other podcasts, you guys are doing this too. I'm a big outdoorsman. Fishing's probably my favorite thing to do, and so trying to create, like, maybe once a quarter, it's, hey, we're going to take a bunch of guys fishing, or we're going to take a bunch of guys hunting or camping, and that's going to be like the really fun part of it. But even though there's a fun aspect to it, I still want to be able to have deeper conversations with these guys and try to dive deep and figure out what's ailing and what's hurting them and how we can help. So
yeah, for sure.
Kind of
that's part of, like,
you can talk to. Yeah, we've got a couple guys you can talk to. Gene Campbell, True Patriot Outfitters, Gunny from Primal Outfitters Inc.
That's the one I heard. Yeah, that's the podcast I heard.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
Hey, so, we just we're gonna have our post on the side of his boat, by the way.
Oh, cool.
So that's kind of how I started my nonprofit. So back in the 70s, a guy was in San Francisco, and he left his house. He left a note for his family, and the note simply said, "Hey, if anybody stops and smiles at me before I get to the bridge, I won't jump." So his goal was to walk to the bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge. If nobody smiled at him, he was just going to simply jump. Well, he jumped and he killed himself. And all it would have taken was one person smiling at him. It's the small things like that. And so when the big rally cry for, 22 veterans kill themselves every single day, well, the VA just did a study, and it's more like double that. It's more like 44 veterans that are killing themselves every single day, which is like 2 an hour, basically. So I came up with the idea because I love sports. I love outdoor. I love fishing too. Fishing is one of my favorite things to do, but I just don't have the means to take people fishing. But I do have. I do love going to sporting
Or
events.
a boat.
So that's.
You don't have a boat.
I used to have a boat when I lived in Michigan. If you live in Michigan, you have to have a boat.
I guess that's a precursor for Michigan.
So I figured.
Michiganders.
Not only am I going to send people to a sporting event, but I'm going to send them with a mentor so they can go and talk to them, have a deep dive in,
Right.
like, hey, how's it going? It's more about, the conversation and get back. Hey, how can we help you out? Stuff like that. And it does go back to like, we might not know these people that are committing suicide, but it still hurts. Every single one of their lives means something, even though we don't know them. Hell, when the Russian aircraft carrier caught on fire and a bunch of Russian sailors died, I was hurt over that.
Yeah.
These guys have moms and dads and girlfriends and wives too, even though they're the enemy.
Right.
But hey, that could have been me. I was on an aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
There wasn't a time of war at the time. They just perished for no damn good reason.
Yeah.
And Mike, there's what your idea for Freedom for Heroes, great, because the more opportunities we can give to these veterans or EMTs or LEOs or firefighters or whoever, the more they can pick, the more choices they have. Like you guys, he founded this Minutes Wisely, this nonprofit to send veterans with a mentor to sporting events. I was lucky. One of our former members on this show, Jake Clark, Save a Warrior. If you get to listen to that, he founded something that's been saving veterans since 2012. And he does CBR, CBT, EMDR, meditation, ACA, AA, equine therapy, ropes course. And it's all combined into 72 hours. It's the Warrior Detox program. And I mean, and I was able to go to it. And I've been off meds for like 3 years. It totally changed my life. And like Fleek and you are doing these things that will change the lives of our veterans.
I hope so.
We can't change all of them, but we can change one person.
Yeah, we can change one person, man.
And then we keep on doing one person at a time.
Yeah.
And and we've got a lot of people that you can talk to help you out with nonprofits. I mean,
cool.
Fleek and I, we started the VFW here in town, with 26 people. We got 301 as of today.
Oh, wow.
2 years ago we started.
2 years ago.
Awesome.
I mean, I had to go around on Memorial Day, and I had to get the signatures from all of our transfers that live in Murfreesboro and get it back to the state. That's what I did on Memorial Day 2 years ago. That was weird. That was very awkward. I'm like, hello, can I get your signature, please? I mean, but you've got to do it. Acta non verba, action, not words.
Yeah.
And I think you're doing a great thing, and I've loved hearing your story. You're great, Mike. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and if you do get something going, let us know. We'll come out and do a live podcast from your gigs.
Yeah. If you
come stay at my house.
Hell yeah.
If you want support, you got you're talking to the commander of a VFW and a past commander. Sorry, over here. Wait. Yeah, this guy over here, the past commander. I mean, we'll definitely help you out.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we love helping out.
And when you come to Nashville again, you can stay at either his house, or my house.
Very cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I knew I was doing the right thing, because when I filed my paperwork to the IRS, and it does take months, I got my final letter of approval on the anniversary of my mom's passing, 25 years. I got it on that date.
Crazy.
So yeah, I was like, dude, I knew it. Thank you, Mom.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
Heck yeah.
Good stuff. Yeah. I'm super excited.
What time is it over there in Phoenix? Are you guys 2 hours behind?
It's just about 6 right now.
Yeah, 2 hours.
2 hours. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
But,
Heck
Yeah, I'm super excited. I don't know what I don't know yet, and I'm just.
He just said it. He doesn't know what he doesn't know. Jay Clark, you heard it. He said it. He said it, because that's one of the big things when you're talking to people. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what you don't know, so you can't make assumptions. You can't start judging people because you don't know. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah,
and Jake would be very proud. He would be very proud of you. And he's a fellow Army officer, just like yourself, sir.
Oh, is he? Cool.
He was FBI, Secret Service, 11 Alpha, just like you were.
Wow, sounds like a hell of a guy.
He is, and he's actually my guest speaker at the memorial service at the state convention in June.
And where does he live?
He lives in Ohio, about 5 hours from here, Hillsboro, Ohio.
Okay.
I'll if you want, I'll set you up with him. I've got all his numbers and stuff.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is like, just if I could get a little bit of direction on like, hey, if I were you, I'd kind of line things up this way or whatever. Right. Just trying to figure out what that looks like. A few ideas too. Like one of my I actually have a business coach that works with me on some things, and he was like, why? He's like, don't jump into this thing so big. Like, why don't you just try to set up like a picnic this summer and see who shows up? Like, try to get 100 people up there or something like that.
That was a great idea. That's great. Start small and then work on it. Like Jake, this guy, he was a beggar, a professional beggar. He just begged for money, and they just built a $5 million center for post-traumatic stress excellence.
Wow.
So that's up in Ohio, and they save like 20, every cohort, they save 20 people. Jeez. Like firefighters, Leos. I'll get you this guy's email. You can write him. He's a great guy. I just saw him last month. I'm going to see him next month. He's definitely going to get in touch with you.
Cool. That's awesome. I love that. Yeah. I think there's a lot of, and through some of my other connections, I feel like we can get some bigger, whether it's an athlete or some of the local celebrities. There's a lot of that. Those people live out here. Yeah. I feel like once I get the organization actually established and approved by the IRS, if it takes 6 months to do that, I'm going to, in the meantime, obviously try to create, what the mission is and what the vision is and all those things. In business, we have this thing called a vivid vision, where it kind of looks out 3 years and what we see. And so I'm going to create that same vivid vision for this organization. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, really excited.
And me and Fleek, we've got a lot of people that can definitely help you out. Between the two of us, oh my God, forget about it. You'll have that stuff done in like a month.
Very good. Yeah, I'm just, like I said, I don't know what I don't know, and I'm not going to enter into this alone. I'm going to try to gather as much people that want to help. I've had such an outpouring of people that say, whatever it is, I will help. So, all right, well, let's show up at the park and let's start cooking, slinging some chow in the park, hamburgers, hot dogs, just something simple and right. Get it going that way. And we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
I think eventually, if we can grow the thing big enough, I'd really like to do the same thing that Jared Allen did and build a house for somebody and turn the keys over to him. I think that would be a big long-term, big, hairy, audacious goal type thing.
That is so cool. That is something really good. That's very philanthropic of you.
Yeah. So.
Heck yeah, shoot for the stars, man.
Right.
Shoot for the stars.
Yeah, my goal is with these tickets is send a veteran to a Super Bowl.
Oh, right on. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Fleek, if the Kraken had won, my mom was going to buy tickets, and we were going to take someone out to Seattle Kraken, but they lost to the Stars, unfortunately.
Well, let's go to Dallas.
I know. Paulie Freeman, wherever you are, why do you like the Stars? Come on, man.
Because he lived in Dallas for a ton of years.
He's a poser. No, just kidding, Chief. I'm just kidding. Dude, when they were the North Stars, that's when you should have been behind them. Minnesota. Then they moved to Dallas. Come on. Forget about it.
Yeah.
Just kidding, Chief. Don't hate me. Don't haze me. Oh yeah, he's gonna give me a lot of shit for that one.
And I appreciate what you guys are doing and just all the word that you're getting out just in general. I think, when you sit there and you look at what the VA has done, and yeah, they're making an effort and they're trying to get better, but I feel like it's all this little grassroots stuff that, I mean, there's three of us here having this conversation. How many of these conversations and how many nonprofits have been started in the last 10 years? And what's the true impact from that? It would be good if somebody actually did a study and tried to figure that out, because I feel like collectively the impact that what you guys are doing, what I'm trying to do, whatever, all the people that you're connected with, I feel like that impact extends out so far and casts such a wide net that I think we're changing lives. I don't know what rate it is, but it's got to be a big number.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Heck yeah.
Fleek, you got anything else, man?
No, but if you talk to Jared Allen again, have him give us a call so we can talk football.
All right.
Oh, hey, Mike, actually, before we sign off, do you have any words of wisdom for our viewers all in the 24 different countries and all across this great state of America?
Yeah. Make it inspirational, and you might end up end up in a book.
Just like, you mean just life in general, or?
Yeah, just anything that you want to tell our vets or our listeners, some good advice that you've acquired over 21 years of military service, and any life experiences. Like, what would you pass on to them?
I grew up a pretty hard-headed, stubborn person, and it's taken me a while to kind of pierce that armor. And we all do carry some sort of armor, that we're wearing. And I think a lot of things that I've learned over the last few years, and maybe it's because I'm a little bit older, being trustworthy of people regardless of what's going on in the world, being vulnerable, being transparent with people, and being truly authentic. I think just it carries so much weight in general with people. And I think, consistency is the key to whatever it is that you do. I feel like whether that's consistency at work, consistency with your relationship with your spouse. But I also, at the same time, I feel like people have to have self-awareness and have to have self-love and self-care for their own being, right? It's that put the oxygen mask on first in the airplane. Take care of yourself, otherwise you're not going to be as good to anybody else, whether it's your spouse, your kids, if you're an employer, all consistency across the board, and it goes in investing too, right? All that stuff, all those little things are compound interest. They're little seeds along the way. And if you looked at, compound interest with investing, compound interest with your relationships, I mean, that curve is a flat curve, and then all of a sudden it does a hockey stick. And, just keep planting those seeds and have faith and trust in this country still, regardless of what your political affiliation is, and just take care of yourself, take care of your family.
Wow, that was good. I like that. I like that a lot. You did good, Mike.
Yeah, you never know. So I'm doing a cookbook right now, and I'm taking.
I love that idea.
Taking little blurbs from the podcast and sticking it in next to a recipe.
What's your favorite food, Mike?
Did I lose you guys?
No, I can hear you.
Okay. What's your favorite food?
Sushi.
Sushi. Okay. Fleek, we could probably do that, right?
I don't know how you make sushi, but it's my favorite food to eat. I will tell you, besides that, it's probably barbecue. I love smoking stuff.
Okay.
Yes.
He's
now you're talking my language.
I love smoking food. So
smoked meat, not meth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I remember that podcast that I listened to with Gunny on there. You guys were talking about that recipe book, and I was like, that is an absolutely awesome idea. I love that.
Yeah, so I sent it away to three. I PDF'd it and I sent it away to three friends, and I got one copy back, and she said, "Oh my God, I couldn't stop reading these quotes. It was amazing." And she said, she also said, "I love that you didn't edit it; you just left it in there raw." And I was like, "Yeah, I kind of struggled with that because I didn't know. I don't want to scare people away, but also I think it's important for the average American citizen to know what." Our brothers and sisters have gone through, right? So I put the quotes in there.
What about Jeff and the other guy, woman?
I sent it to Jeff Sabins, Tank, Lieutenant Colonel.
Tank Aponte, yeah.
And then I sent it to a lady I went to high school with.
So the two Marine, the one Air Force and one Marine has not gotten back to you.
Not yet. I'm gonna send him a message, say, "Hey, what's up, you guys? Come on, I want to get this thing out."
Listen, man. I just saw on Facebook he was at the Country Kitchen or whatever, Cracker Barrel with his
Jeff.
Yeah, with his family today.
Yeah.
So he's got time.
Yeah, I don't know about Tank because he just took on a job where he's flying again.
Is he?
He's flying the U-2, but he's a test pilot for the manufacturer, which is super cool.
Wow, that is super cool. Damn.
So what's the intent of the cookbook, or what are you trying to do with it? Are you trying to get it out there for proceeds to go to a nonprofit, or?
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to do it to kind of feed my nonprofit
and work on your cooking, Squidly.
Hey, I don't need to work on my cooking. My cooking's piled in.
Hey, listen, you're talking to a bona fide chef, a chef that actually went to cooking school.
Yeah. So
not some of these other chefs that think they're chefs and didn't go to cooking school.
I'm definitely not a chef. I'm a backyard cook, and that's exactly what it says on my book.
Okay. That's okay. That's fine. But don't call yourself a chef.
Yeah. And don't be mean to your service dog either.
Oh shit, son. I wasn't even going to go there. I wasn't even going to go there. Damn.
Hey, Mike, Andrew and his brother were chefs back in the day. He lost his brother. Your brother was 32 years old?
He was 32. I lost him to stage 4 colon cancer.
So I'm already got ideas for the second volume of the cookbook, and it's going to be Cooking with Squidly meets the Farr brothers or something.
I gave I found, like, after Matthew passed, I got my brother's name was Matthew, and he gave me I found all of his he was a sous chef, so I found all of his cookbooks.
Yeah. Oh, wow. 4 binders. Full
binders.
Yeah.
And I just let Fleek borrow them, and we're gonna go through the recipes. When I get back from Panama City,
yeah,
I'm gonna come and meet with you, and we're gonna go and look through the recipes.
How cool is that?
It's going to be dedicated to my brother, and I'm really thankful that Fleek wants to do this, and it's going to make my mom cry. It's actually cheering me up a little bit. But Matt was a really good chef. He worked at this restaurant in Seattle called Canlis, and it's right on the mountain, right overlooking Lake Washington. And he had this really, because this works in with Fleek's thing, but Ichiro, the pitcher for the damn Mariners, used to go into that restaurant every single week, and my brother used to serve him.
Really?
So it was so cool. Like, when Matt would tell me this, I'll be like, no way. He's like, he showed me pictures of him in this. Oh my! It was awesome. And just what Fleek's doing for him is and my family that's pretty fucking cool.
That's a good legacy right there too. That's something that you're going to spread that out to so many people, and he'll indirectly touch so many people.
Yeah.
Love you, Fleek. Thank you, Fleek.
Right on, buddy. All right, we're just past an hour now.
Hour and 10. All right. Well, good. Hey, Mike, good job. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for the opportunity, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, always.
TSP, the Scuttlebutt. We love your story, and Fleek, take us out, man.
Yeah, thanks to Jessica for introducing us, man. As a matter of fact, I got a cool story. So our grandfather was a a combat veteran in the Army in World War II. So my love is really, I love the United States Navy.
Yeah.
I love the Navy about as much as Andrew loves the Marine Corps.
Sure.
I do not, I have a bunch of tattoos, but I have 0 Navy tattoos, but I have 1 Army tattoo out of respect for my grandfather. It's Old Hickory 30th Division.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So out of respect for him, I don't have any Navy tattoos, even though I sailed 4 continents when I was 19
need to get some
years
Navy
old.
tattoos right now, man. I really do. Like a nice, like a ship or something, like right over here.
So my grandfather's father, who lived on the same property as my grandfather, he was a sailor in World War I, and he had a naked lady tattooed on his forearm. And I always wanted to do that, but my wife's like, no.
Yeah.
It was like a naked lady with a hula, the old school Navy tat. I think that tattoo's awesome.
You probably made a smart move not doing that.
Yeah, probably. It wouldn't look good. I'm an IT guy, so it wouldn't look good when I walked into the office,
Right.
So I'll just stick with my 1 little Army tattoo and my We the People.
Hey,
that's good enough.
And your other one, man. Your what's the other? Yeah, there.
Zagita one.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So many. You come off deployment and it's just like we were at Fort Bragg and everybody's like, I swear to God, the second night everybody was in a tattoo parlor getting Band of Brothers tattoos or whatever. And
you get tattoos, a Mustang or a Harley. That's it. After deployment, that's what you get, or a Sea-Doo.
Or a Sea-Doo.
Yeah, dude. Seriously, some guy tried to want me to co-sign his Ski-Doo. I'm like, no,
Co-sign.
I'm not doing that for you. I love you, but I am not co-signing anything.
Hey, when Chief Paulie Freeman was down there in the Dallas area, he was part of a reserve unit down there in Dallas, and he bought a Sea-Doo, and his side gig was he rented it out on the weekends. He said he made bank doing it.
Dude, that's really funny that you mentioned that, because that's who I'm going diving with, is the Pirate of Nashville, who rents out Sea-Doos in Nashville. That's really funny that you just mentioned that, because I got to pick him up on Friday, and we're going to be in Panama City by at least 3 or 4 o'clock.
Yeah, right on.
Crazy. Wow. Small world.
All right. Well, hey, Mike, hang on a second. I want to make sure your post uploads here. So thanks a lot for tuning in, everybody. Thanks a lot, Mike,
Thanks,
Andrew.
guys.
Thank you.
See you guys
Mike.
next week.
Next week.
Yeah, thanks for